Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Big up to everyone that's been waiting. Sorry for the slight delay. But we're here with another episode of the Day After Show, the show where we talk about everything that happened yesterday when Chelsea took on Leeds at home in the Premier League. We kind of did a bit of a preview after the on the last episode of this show, and we sort of spoke about Leeds and our expectation and just the month of February as a whole. Like, it's a very winnable month, isn't it? Like, you can't sit here and say I'm asking for a ridiculous amount to basically just win all of the games, but Leeds was always going to be the most challenging out of Burnley and Hull. Who did we just play?
Wolves, bro.
And Wolves. Like, but it was always going to be the most challenging. But that's still being said, like, these are games that we should be comfortably on top of. But it wasn't meant to be. And there's a number of different ways you can look at it. There's different reactions. There was a couple of Leeds fans that stopped the fan cams and had a chat with myself. And there was a debate with Charlie as well, and a Leeds fan, which might be worth actually looking at, because it's quite interesting just seeing the opinion from a Leeds fan who, by the way, I don't think he'd had that many drinks. He seemed to know what he was talking about. And I think he made some pretty decent points. So, listen, good to have you boys on as always. Dharmesh, it's been a while. You've still been doing what you do. You've been the player ratings and all the rest of it. You still doing the writing?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, been having away a standard, really, to be fair. But I'm just so gutted with yesterday's result. It's the worst way to drop points, in my opinion, is that when you play so well, when you're cruising, expecting like a 4-5 goal sort of victory, then all of a sudden within the madness of like 15-20 minutes, we just throw it away. Other than that, man, not too bad. It'd be interesting to see what kind of lineup we put up for the cup game on Friday and stuff, and how we go about things and how we respond to I say the defeat. It feels like a defeat yesterday, but how we respond to yesterday's result and how we go ahead looking into other games and stuff. But yeah, man, all good otherwise.
I mean, Scott, mate. This is a bit of a killer, this one, because I honestly thought we were going to have a very happy, chappy month. But it wasn't a loss, but it certainly feels like one, especially when you look at the miss at the end. You're kind of scratching your head, really, saying it was there for the taking. But then you look at the goals we conceded and you go, well, that was horrendous. You're on mute, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's an annoying one because I think that was a really good performance for 65 minutes. I think we dominated Leeds basically in totality, didn't allow them anything, kept them penned in their half. Like, it was really comfortable. It's one of the best performances we've seen under Rosenior since he's joined. And then it's just 6 moments of not even like madness or anything. It's just 6 moments or 6 minutes of just 2 or 3 lapses in concentration from certain players. And we concede 2 goals, and all of a sudden we're under a little bit of pressure. Then even after the goals, to be fair, Leeds kind of don't really put any other pressure because it's 2-2. They kind of have no other incentive to get anything. And it's us having the ball, trying to push for the winner, but we couldn't really create much. We had a couple of moments, the Neto cross that goes just wide of the post, the Hato cross that is just a little bit too high for Joao Pedro, and then the miss at the end. So yeah, it's honestly not one I'm too annoyed about in terms of how we played and everything. It always sucks to drop points, but honestly, I genuinely think outside of a couple of players who I think we'll touch on briefly, just because I think it's just worth mentioning, but not really focusing on, like, everyone played well. Like, even guys who I haven't been their biggest fans of, played, like, had a part to play. Some other players, Joao Pedro, for example, Palmer, kind of continued their form, and yeah, like, it just kind of sucks that we didn't get something out of that game, or more out of that game, considering the way we played.
I mean, Said, you've been away. You've been on holiday in Thailand. What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand. But you're back. You're back in the UK now. Have you been keeping up to date with the boys?
I was staying up until 5 a.m. That was sort of the times that you have to watch football there. It sort of gave me a lot of respect for a lot of the guys that don't have the privilege of watching football in this country. I realized, hold on, these guys have to wake up 3, 4 5 a.m. to watch Chelsea play, to watch Premier League football. I was like, wow, that is a different level of dedication. So fair play to those guys out there, our fan base out there. Got a lot of Chelsea fans there, to be fair. I was there. My thoughts on the Leeds game is I'll just say I'm a bit gutted and I have a bit of conflict of interest because I think you guys can agree with me. We were a joy to watch for 60 minutes. It was samba football. It was liquid football. I was just like, what? This is one of the best performances I've seen at Stamford Bridge for a long, long time. And it was like, I was proud of the boys and the way that they were playing and the way that we got the 2 goals. Joao Pedro, Esteval, Andre Santos surprised me as well. I'm not one of his biggest fans, but the performance that he put in and how he just makes everyone play better. And then to just go give it away, essentially. And yeah, it was just gut wrenching, I'll be honest, to go from that level of happiness to that level of frustration within the space of 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely frustrated with the first goal. I'm with quite a nice group of people. We sort of chat throughout the game, and it was like, oh, here we go. And then they scored, and it was like, oh, great, we're back in it. But like, not seriously worried at that point. But you kind of knew, all right, something's going to happen here. And then that last goal was just ridiculous, to be honest with you. And this has to be one of the big things as well. Like, Scott, we had this debate after Wolves, because I think it was you and who else was on the show? Thomas and someone else.
Thomas, yeah, and Charlie, I think.
And Charlie. Was it Charlie?
No, I think it was after Wolves. I think it was Charlie, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Charlie.
Wolves.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Wolves was the last game we played. So
and basically, you and Charlie were very impressed with the first half, right? And my thing was, why? Like, what are we talking? Not to say that it was bad, but it's like when we're bigging the team up about this first half against the worst team in the Premier League that I've ever seen, I just don't know what to take from it. Like, I can't use that as a genuine springboard for how I expect us to play in most games, because most teams, well, all teams are better than Wolves, at least in the Prem. So for me, like this Leeds game, I'm totally with everyone who says that was a great performance, at least for 60 minutes, whatever you want to call it. I think it was the best performance I've seen under Rosinha. Obviously not the best result. I saw the patterns. I saw what we were doing with Enzo and then Cucurella offering the width. I liked the variety on the other side with Esteval. I liked what Joao Pedro was offering, dropping deep. We didn't even have 4 at times. We had 5 in there, and we were still able to open up spaces. I do think against low blocks that'll be a bit harder, because Leeds, they do want to come out and play a little bit. But like that was beautiful to see. We weren't one dimensional by any in any way. But yeah, we just bottled it. Like Nina said it after the game. Like, what else do you call it? It was just total bottle jobs. And I guess the question then is why? Whose fault is it? Obviously we know the mistakes that we saw, but like who's responsible for that? Is that solely on the players? Are we just looking at the defense here? Are we looking at Caicedo conceding the penalties, getting a lot of flack? And where does the manager come in?
Caicedo, Alex, I would say, like, as much as I love Moises Caicedo, I call him consistent Caicedo. I absolutely love that guy, but I'd be doing a disservice to myself if I wasn't gonna say this. Like, since the Arsenal game, since the 1-1 draw where we went down to 10 men, every 3 or 4 games this guy seems to do something, and it ends up like it ends up in us dropping points, or ends up being us being in a position where we've got our backs against the wall and we really have to climb a mountain. And it's just starting to get on my nerves, and I feel like this isn't the normal Kaisedo that we normally see. These last 2 months, he has been one of the architects to our downfall in certain situations. And I feel like we have to call that out. As much as I love Caicedo, I have to call a spade and say, hey, you dropped us points today. And yeah, I think that's the mature thing to say. But I'll let you have a take on it.
I mean, just going on Caicedo then. So you're saying in recent games that Caicedo was one of the main.
No. He hasn't been performing badly. I'm just saying there's times where he has just lapses in judgment, and that can lead to like a shift in momentum for the other side, and we're just giving stuff away. Like, you know what I mean?
I will say this: I don't think that Caicedo has been our best midfielder under Rosinha. I think our best midfielder has been Andre Santos since he's come in. And I remember the Palace game was a great example because I watched it from home, totally different angle. You'd see things differently, and I was thinking to myself, like, Santos was doing the simple things so well. And it's not to say that Caicedo looked bad, but I almost felt like during that game he was just not as good as Santos. And it's kind of what we've said about Fernandes many times. It's not that he was bad, but it was like, was he really good? And like, we've called Fernandes out a lot of times because if he hadn't have had the GA, we would have been going, why the hell are you on the pitch? And I guess maybe that's a conversation about Caicedo at the moment. Obviously, nobody's questioning whether he should start or not. But I would put it down to, if you're looking for a logical explanation, so many minutes, and eventually those minutes are going to catch up with you. The only solution in terms of our midfield problems, no Lavia, no Asugo, is really just to put Reece James in there, and that will give Kaisedo an opportunity to have a rest. But apart from that, if you want to play the double pivot and Enzo on the left or in the 10, you're forced to play Santos and Kaisedo, and then you don't really have any other options unless you change that, and then you only have one player in midfield like Maresca did, and maybe you just want to invert.
Yeah, I think in relation to the game, I do think that it sucks from Caicedo's point of view, because I thought he was having a really good game up until the mistake for the penalty, and then I think he's involved in the second goal. Yeah, and it's just annoying because, like, to be fair, most of the guys that were involved in the second goal I thought were having good games up until the mistakes. And then it's just like, as I said, lapses in concentration. With Caicedo, I do think like some of it is I think there's just been too many mistakes. I don't think it's been anything to do with necessarily a tactical shift or anything like that. Outside of that one game where he was the dude picking the ball up between the centre backs. It was the game we played. Oh, that was the Arsenal game where we played three at the back and he was picking the ball up between the centre backs. For some reason, like, he was horrible that game because of the tactical shift. But yeah, outside of that game, it's just been lapses in concentration and just weird moments and like silly mistakes. I think outside of that, he's been kind of mostly the same in terms of like his shootings. Obviously, we know how good it is. He just doesn't get opportunities. I think his passing maybe has gone down a little bit, but I think that's more just because stuff isn't coming off for him. Like, you know, that thing of like when stuff just isn't happening for you, it's not happening. Like when you're in bad form.
You know what, Scott, just to interject there, I think that with the passing, I think it goes to the system. And I think that I've said it before with Rosinha, it's about individuals thriving with a little bit more structure than we would have had under Poch. And I think with Maresca, especially in that midfield, you know where everyone's going to be. And now it's a little bit more, he might be there, he might be here. I mean, we saw it with Gusto, right? You can invert, you can also overlap. And I don't think that makes life easier for a midfielder, especially when you're trying to build up and have reliable spaces to pass into.
Potentially, I do think what is helping him and you saw with this game is Santos being in there. Like, just touching on Santos, he's been, as you said, the best midfielder since Rosinha's come in here, and it's not close at all. I think that he has been everything that myself and others thought he was going to be. Defensively solid. His ability to play within the lines and to receive the ball from the centre backs is like extremely good. The only thing we've kind of been missing from him is the passing. Like, he's always had the short passing down, but it's kind of been that mid to long passing has been the bit that's been iffy. But the last two games, and especially the game yesterday, he has stepped it up massively, and we're seeing like almost week on week improvement in that area. And honestly, this is what happens, and this is a criticism on Maresca more than anything. This is what happens when you play a guy and give him time to settle and aren't playing him in the 10 and then playing him in midfield next to Lavia, and then they're not playing for 3 weeks, and then he comes in for 15 minutes next to Enzo, and then he's not playing for 3 weeks, and then he's coming for 15 minutes next to Caicedo. And we'll talk about another player that is getting that same, kind of treatment now in a different position. and was responsible for one of the goals. But you see what consistent game time and being allowed to build on your performances does. And yeah, he's got like every single game he's going on like leaps and bounds with his performances and the way he's playing and his ability.
I just want to react to a comment from T-Crom saying Santos receiving the ball instead of Caicedo. Caicedo's having to play more without the ball, and Santos is overrated. What's your reaction to that, guys?
Nonsense. And also, I want Santos to be receiving the ball instead of Kaisedo.
What is he being specific? Like, what's he trying to say that Santos is overrated?
It's just a general statement, isn't it?
I don't think that. I don't think anybody.
I don't think he's overrated. No,
I think he's underappreciated, undervalued, if anything, because when he was under Maresca, he was in a chop and change system where he was coming in for like 10 minutes at the end of the game. The only time where I really saw him have a great performance was probably against Burnley, and now he's putting in great performances week in, week out. So I think that's just a bit of nonsense, if you ask me.
I think he's helping Caicedo, if anything, as well, because just on the Caicedo stuff, I don't know. Like, I kind of disagree with some of the points that you guys have raised in terms of like him dropping a standard a little bit. I still think he's got that in him right now, even with playing with like Santos and Enzo. Obviously, positionally, he's still the same, but I think he's just having less responsibility, if that makes sense, in midfield with Santos next to him, which obviously is a good thing for him and Santos. I think maybe recently, because obviously it's cost us in some games, for example, the missing out on the Arsenal second leg, for example, that was stupid by him. Obviously, the penalty yesterday was stupid. I just think fans need to sort of like, I don't know. I think it's just overreactionary, like I say this stuff. I still think like there's been so many times where he's actually saved us from like conceding like much more goals than we should, or we have basically.
What I would say to that is I don't think that he's been having bad performances. I just think that he's had lapses in judgment in certain areas that
possibly, yeah, but I could agree to that to some extent. But I think the way some Chelsea fans got this as if he's like falling off a cliff, like these past few games and stuff, which is nonsense in my opinion. Like, but without him, honestly, we'd be conceding more goals than we are already. And yes, he's made a couple of mistakes, but isn't everyone allowed like a dipping sort of performances for a couple of games? I mean, like, I don't think anyone should worry too much about him, to be fair, because he's still one of our best players this season. He's still still a leader, I think, but it just obviously he's cut out this lack of discipline. I think having Santos next to him is actually going to help in the long run as well, in terms of less responsibility in terms of like transitional play and on the counter attack when teams are coming through the middle. We've seen so many times where Kaisedo is left on his own. He has to make a stupid challenge because Enzo's bombed too forward or someone else has bombed too forward. He's left on his own. But with Santos next to him now, he can do that sweeping up for Kaisedo and restart the play. And then maybe we might get more goal output from Kaisedo as well with him.
Well, he really should have gotten the assist for a third goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. But I just think
this might be an unpopular opinion, but I've always thought that Caicedo would be a great box-to-box midfielder as opposed to.
I think he should be. I think
he is. Yeah,
I think we see this. I think we see this in the team, and that brings me on to another point with this midfield. I think the midfield pivot we have currently is the midfield pivot that brings the most balance to the team.
Yeah,
whether it's the most talented or not is a different debate, but in terms of balance, it brings the most balance because you've got a guy in Santos who can do the first phase of play stuff and can handle the like sitting deep and kind of being he's not Jorginho, but that type of player, just with a bit more mobility and a bit more ground coverage. And Caicedo can almost do the Kante role, again, with a little bit added more in the final third of just being able to find the game, roam. We know he has those little passes. We've seen, obviously, the cross for the Palmer chance. There's been others where he's, I think, what was the goal? The Enzo goal against West Ham. He was the one that plays the pass into Joao Pedro for the cross across the box. So he has that in him.
Where he chased it down and gave it to Joao Pedro. 100%. Yesterday, the little 1-2 that he done, was it with Joao Pedro where he gave the ball to Palmer?
I think it might have been.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
We just haven't seen that enough because he hasn't had the ability to play further forward. But I mean, when he first joined Brighton, that first season when everyone was raving him at Brighton, not the second season after Basuma left, the first season when he's playing alongside Basuma, he was the guy that was getting further forward. He was the one playing in and around the box. People forget that. Just because he ended up being the DM.
And he started sitting back a bit more.
And people think, just because he ended up being the DM So no, he came in as the guy that was further forward of the two midfielders. And so yeah, I think he just has the ability to do more. We just haven't seen that. And so with Santos, it gives him that ability to do more. And then you take away the elements of his game which are weakest, which is that first bit of build-up play, where he doesn't want to take the ball under pressure. He's not that type of midfielder. Not all guys are, you know. But luckily Santos is, or he's getting there, and Lavia is. We just don't see him at all.
There's less pressure as well on Caicedo because, as I mentioned before, like you'll see maybe the less side of his rash play in terms of like him getting booked silly for counter attacks and stuff, and whereas a stable midfielder next to him, like a Santos or Reece next to him and stuff, is going to help his game even more. And I just think we'll see an even better Kaisedo than he already has, to be fair, which is why I think fans just need to sort of calm down a little bit in terms of like calling him washed, listing out the games that he's cost us and stuff. I mean, like, yeah.
What games have been listed? Out of curiosity.
Oh, there was some tweet that I just came across.
It was a Bayern game where
Kaisedo's.
he gave us a penalty. He gave a penalty away.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the same thing or not.
Which game? Sorry, which game?
Bayern game, right at the beginning. Bayern? He gave a penalty away. There was the yellow card. Was it against Fulham? No, who was it against? Where he missed the Arsenal game straight afterwards.
Cardiff away.
Cardiff, and then there was the Arsenal game where he got sent off.
Yeah.
There was this penalty that he gave away. Like people have started to compile it. They're just making him look like
it's just nonsense stuff. Like if you list the amount of like counter attacks this guy stopped, like to help prevent goals and help the defense, then yeah, someone should do something like that. Just remember how good this guy is, and like yeah, people.
I was in the stadium when N'Golo Kante slipped against Martinelli. Like I was there, like, where he cost us. Like great players can cost you games. Sometimes it happens, but I feel like people just need to relax and realize how good this guy is.
And I don't think he said anything concerning. Like yeah.
Let's move on from Kaisedo and Santos. I think we can all agree that they're both very they're going to be important players in this system.
Oh, sorry, just to say as well, Andre Santos has proven me wrong because even start of the season, I was probably one of the few people I was like, who's this Andre Santos guy? Like, fair enough, I didn't watch Strasbourg, but I was kind of just like, oh, like what's the hype around this Santos kid? He's not going to be good. Like, I genuinely had no faith, but fair play to him. Like, he's proven me wrong. And I'm so impressed with him, honestly. Really impressed.
I think the other thing on the midfield, very quickly before we move on, this is why in the summer as well, we need another midfielder. Someone has to leave, whether it's Lavia or Sugo, I don't care. Preferably both, but I don't care. We need another midfielder. Because I said it before, these two, and if Enzo's going to be here, he can play as well, cool. But these two need to be playing week in, week out. So you need a backup on the bench to be able to play.
Would you really get rid of Lavia though? Because Lavia is only 21 years old. He's only
he hasn't completed 90 minutes in nearly 3 years.
I know he's had 21 appearances in the Premier League, but it's just
there is a genuine opportunity that Colwell might complete more minutes than him this season. And I wish I was joking. If Colwell completes 390 minutes, he will have beaten Lavia's total minutes for this season in all comps. I like Lavia. I think he's an excellent player.
I feel like Lavia's profile is very hard to find in Europe. Like that level of technical ability as a holding midfielder is very rare.
I agree, and like
that sort of raw talent is just it's not like you don't find it anywhere. Like it's very hard to find, and I can't believe that I'm saying this.
I 100% agree with you in terms of talent. He is unreal, and it just sucks he can't stay fit. But
would you put him out on loan in a league where it's less?
If you could find a team that would take him on a loan, and yes, and I do the same with Sugo. Maybe somewhere that could like get him up to speed 100% and prove he can stay fit for a season. Then yeah, so I do the same with Sugo. I'd send Sugo on loan to Strasbourg. But whoever leaves, whoever stays, we need a midfielder like in the summer, because you can't be having Reece James as the starting right back and then backup midfielder, because these guys can't.
If you go for some of the quality midfielders in the league, you're paying about 80 to 90 million.
That's why I'm not going for an Anderson. I'm not going for a Wharton because of that reason. Like I'm not spending 80 million on a backup midfielder. I'm spending 40 max.
Okay, let's talk about Fernandes, guys, because this is a guy that I would have probably. I'd say I'm in the camp of he was one of the most improved players under Maresca. I don't think Maresca gets enough credit for the influence that he had on Fernandes becoming a midfielder that can come into the box and create, lots of good link up. I was confused at the Wolves game because I saw him on the wing and then coming inside. And then when I understood that Cucurella was creating the width, I I understood it a little bit more, but I didn't really appreciate what I was seeing again because it was Wolves. So it was nice to see it against a better side. I mean, Darmesh, are you a fan of seeing Enzo Fernandez on the left? Because we've seen him play deeper. We've seen him play as just a standard 10. And this is a slightly different role, but it gives him a little bit more freedom.
It's sort of like a hybrid role, to be fair. But I think it only works against certain teams, to be fair. And I guess the lower sort of opposition teams. I don't really want to see it in a big game, to be fair, because I just think that we'll just get packed out in the midfield, and I think it would just be too predictable for us to sort of like keep relying on Cucurella to have that sort of width. But yeah, on Enzo, I think he performed really well, to be fair. In the Leeds game as well, I thought he played well. Played well against Wolves, obviously, as well last week. And picking up those pockets of positions are probably most important to what he's bringing in Rossini's system, I think, compared to Maresca's, where he was sort of like a just a box crusher. But I think now you're seeing more of his like technical play, what he can do, pre-assists and all that stuff, like trying to create chances. I mean, he created a brilliant chance for who was it, Neto or Joao Pedro last week against Wolves in the second half?
Neto.
Neto, yeah. Well, obviously Neto missed and stuff, but yeah, I'm really liking like Enzo's position. But like I said, I think against the smaller teams or the teams where they come at us, I think it can work because Enzo's good under pressure, where you can sort of lay off that quick pass or play the ball to the left for Cucurella for that outlet. But against teams that get the big teams where they pack out the midfield, I just don't think it'll work, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm liking what I see from Enzo, to be fair. And yeah, it's frustrating that I've got him my FPL. Every time I throw him my FPL, it's always Palmer and penalties. It just frustrates the life out of me because obviously it'll be him on penalties and stuff, and he gets robbed of so many assists as well. So yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, cool.
You said like you wouldn't trust it in the big games. I'm guessing, of course, you still want Santos and Caicedo playing alongside Enzo in a 3-man midfield in the big games. Does that mean that you'd sacrifice Esteval or you sacrifice Palmer because you can only play one of them off the right? Or would you tell Palmer that day just to play as a complete and utter left winger and don't come inside?
I think maybe, yeah, it's difficult. That's where we sort of have ourselves a dilemma in terms of who would be the best sort of pairing in that midfield position, because if we are just to go to flat 4-3-3, then obviously you can't fit. You can have Palmer on the right, but then with Esteban on the left as well, someone else gonna have to drop out, and then we'd have to completely change our system, which won't work for us. But yeah, it's I don't know. To be honest with you, maybe a Santos Kaisedo pivot would work better, to be fair, against the big teams in terms of that physicality, winning the ball back and stuff. But maybe Enzo probably has to sit out or hold bench for some of the big games. But we've seen in the big games this season that he has played well, to be fair, when he has played next.
I think right now I'd bench Palmer over Enzo right now, to be honest.
What did you just say?
In terms of a midfield 3, I'd be playing Palmer off the right.
Yeah, I would
do that as well. But I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't bench Palmer. Like I wouldn't start him in that 3. I'll start him off the right.
Okay.
I'd sacrifice Esteban and force him to play off the left.
I feel like after that game, I just wanted to do a fan cam outside, just talking about how much I love Palmer and how proud I was of him. I am telling everyone right now, he is so back. He is so back. I could see. I've been saying it ever since Maresca got sacked. I said Palmer looks like he's playing with freedom. He looks like he's happy to carry the ball. He looks like he's enjoying it more. That was sensational what we saw. I know the goal. I know he should have scored. This guy carried the team on his back when he didn't see a pass. I don't know what it's like watching it on the telly, because obviously I'm not. But there's moments in games where I've seen Gittins, I've seen Mudryk, I've seen Garnacho, I've seen them all. I've seen Madueke. Like, we go back years and years, and it happened against West Ham where everyone's like, "Come on, boys, come on." And I'm seeing this guy. He is a trooper. His mentality is it is world class. That miss won't affect him whatsoever. He'll go and score 2 goals again against Burnley. Like, he will do it if he's given the minutes. He'll do it. He is, honestly, I cannot. That was a 10 out of 10 performance from Palmer. It was fucking unbelievable.
You know that miss
Yeah.
reminded me of like Kevin De Bruyne's one against us in like the season, Conte season, where we
Oh,
won
the everyone
3-1.
league, yeah, we hit the bar,
Yeah.
didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
But just on that, Alex, I think we need more of a sample size in terms of like more
Right,
games in the season to sort of see. I don't
But
like obviously like he's
we're
starting
not
off like
talking
Palmer
about
started off great.
potential here, Darmesh. We've seen it, right?
Oh no,
We've
of course
seen
we've
it,
seen it.
and then we just have to
then-
unlock that. Yeah, whatever it was that worked before, we have to unlock that.
But then you
So
can't forget
I don't see
how
what we're
bad
waiting for.
Palmer's been as well. Like for the most part of like it's what 12 to 18 months as well. I think he's on the path to coming back, but I don't think he's there just yet.
So back, Darmesh.
You think so? Okay.
back.
Well,
To be fair,
yeah.
he turned it
yeah.
on. He turned on at the
I-
end of last season against United, against Liverpool, against PSG in the Club World Cup, in the final against Betis. Like he switched it on. Then the groin injury sort of hindered him. I feel like what Alex is saying is right. Well, let's not forget what Palmer is. Palmer
yeah, true.
is ready.
True.
He's there. There's not
No,
going to
but
be a waiting period for this guy. The only issue is that groin. Can that groin hold up?
He is.
I think there is a waiting period because of that groin, though, and I do agree with what Dom mentioned in terms of. I think it's too early to say he's back after 150 minutes worth of football where he's played well, but prior to that, outside of the Napoli game, when he has played under a senior, it hasn't been good. Like outside the Napoli game where he played right wing for that, whatever period it was, 45 minutes, whatever, and then the Wolves game for 60 minutes, and then yesterday against Leeds, he's still not been great. Like even under a senior.
You say great in terms of what? In terms of GA?
No, just in terms of performances, he's not been good. Like even like in terms of what he's offering to us on the pitch under a senior, outside of that Napoli performance, and then outside the two performances yesterday. So that's why I'm going to wait until we've got a 5-6 game sample size, and then go. Okay, we've seen 5-6 games of Palmer now back in this team. You know, playing regularly, playing 90 minutes or playing 60 minutes, whatever it's going to be with load management. If he continues performances like he did yesterday and like he did against Wolves, I'll happily say he's back.
Yeah,
but
same.
I think
I
it's
don't know
too
about
early
you
to
guys.
say he's back to, he's back to Cole Palmer of old and this, that, and the other of like, when I think that's tough to say after 150 minutes.
That's fair enough. Let me just, sorry, one of you, Karen, my computer's going to run out.
No,
I didn't want to touch on the Enzo thing very quickly.
I agree with you
Go ahead.
completely. I feel like sometimes a lot of people get fixated on GA as well. I mean, it's all about performances, especially when you're in that 10 position. Like, how is your performance throughout the 90? Are you walking? Because I've seen Eden Hazard do it countless times where he didn't get a goal or assist, but he walked off the pitch with the Man of the Match award. Like, he was that good. Like, it's about performances, and I just don't ever want our fans to let GA cloud our judgment. And we have to admit that Cole Palmer has not had a great end of the 2025 and beginning of 2026. So he needs to pick it up more, and we need to see him for a 6, 7, 8 game stretch. And we're going to need him, especially now that we're fighting for Champions League football. And this race is going to come down to the last game of the season. I'll be honest, with Liverpool, United and us, it's going to go down to the wire, and he's going to have to play a massive part in getting us over the line.
I'm liking his combinations with Joao Pedro as well.
We're going to talk about him in a bit, man.
I was gonna say,
Just one thing on Palmer, like when I say he's back as well, to be very clear, this is presuming that we're going to manage his fitness and he's not going to get injured again. Like, I don't want it to be a case of he's back and he gets injured. It's not like that. If he is fit, as he looked, and he looks so energetic in there, then I don't see any reason why he doesn't do well against Burnley. I think we're going to have a when's the international break coming up, boys? When's
End of March, bro. 25th March or something. Yeah.
25th of March, right? So we've got the whole of March. We've got a nice break after Burnley. Then we've got, he's got a period where he can recover, and March is where it gets a little bit tasty because the medical department are going to have some sort of a say. But this is a guy for me that he's going to win us again. He's going to win us that game against Burnley, and then Arsenal. I need to see more of a structure. I think that this period is where individuals thrive, and Poch was great at doing this. He was great at just saying to the players, "Go out and play it," and you just have more quality. Like, it doesn't really matter too much what the other manager's saying, unless it's just don't let them score and they're playing for a draw. It happens occasionally, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to win. And then we're going to go into the Arsenal game, and I think that's when we can really judge the manager. But I mean, in terms of the player himself, like some of the link up as well, guys. Like, I was thinking about this. I spoke with Nina about it, Paul Merson's comments on Joao Pedro and Palmer's link up, and it was like, well, Joao Pedro was making runs. He was making good runs that was making Palmer's life easier. He had a lot of movement around him. He had a lot of options around him. So I don't really see how Joao Pedro's the problem. If anything, it looks like they're doing even better, at least at the moment, than anyone would have expected. And that could be a real partnership to pay attention to. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the link up between Palmer and Joao Pedro?
I think it's been excellent, and I think it's the one thing that, you know, for all of the criticism that I think for the most part has been very fair on Joao Pedro, the one thing he has lacked this season more than anything is having a fully fit Palmer behind him. We saw what it did for Jackson, and I think for as much as Palmer helped Jackson, it was vice versa as well because of the link up Jackson had. And we're seeing, because Joao Pedro is a similar type of player, just kind of a cleaner, more technical player, he is doing the similar thing. As much as Palmer is making his life easier, he's making Palmer's life easier because they're two technical players who are on a very similar wavelength. And so they're able to like have a connection on the pitch that just like makes it so easy for you to like find guys with your passing, know where guys are going to be. And, you know, top players have that level of connection, have that level of performance with each other. And so I think it's massively helped. I think you see that with the goals we're scoring. The first goal we score comes from that connection. You know, I think Cole Palmer might be the only player in our team that's willing to make that pass to Joao Pedro, or can make that pass, I should say, to Joao Pedro. And yeah, he finds him brilliantly. It's a great finish. And I think that the connection between them is going to be key going forward, because I think if Joao Pedro can keep, you know, pressing on as well, just focusing on him, I think he is going to, number one, he's going to be better than what we had in Jackson, I think is the first thing, just in terms of an output standpoint, not necessarily in terms of ability and technical ability and whatnot. But yeah, I think it'll be potentially what propels us up the table, because God knows our defense ain't doing that.
I think also
the runs of like Enzo as well. I mean, we touched on obviously Enzo earlier, but I think maybe sort of the pockets that Enzo's picking up as well, I think is helping create that space as well, the extra yard of space for Joao Pedro and Cole Palmer as well to find those little like intricate passes and that sort of last minute sort of pass and stuff. And we've seen how many combinations of them have we seen? So we see obviously the 2 goals against Napoli, the one yesterday. So let's say about 3 GA probably in total, I think, or 3 goals in total. Where we see
there might be more. You probably have to go back and watch like all the highlights.
But in terms of like,
I suppose the penalty,
the penalty,
the Palmer scored. Joao Pedro won that.
And I feel
by the way,
good as well.
Sorry to interrupt, Thomas. Just on the penalty very quickly before I forget. What on earth is it with centre backs just shoving Joao Pedro in the box?
Yeah.
Like what's huh? Like
that was the stupidest penalty I've seen.
There's 2 weeks running, we've had the same penalty given again. Yeah. Given for us.
Yeah,
it must be a skill though, right? He keeps winning them.
No, but you know, if
maybe
I don't know. That's not a skill. That's like, unless you're rattling the defender to like.
He must be rattling them. Then he must be saying something.
That was 2 hands on the back in front of the referee.
He must have spoken about his mum or something. I mean, why else is he pushing him?
You could see that from NW10 that was like that. Like, I'm not joking. Like, we were in SW6. You can see that from NW10. Like, if I was Daniel Farke, what I would be doing in the dressing room after.
Can you imagine if like Chalobah Tosin did that for us, for example, flipping
out? My head's hot. My head is on Pluto if one of our centre backs did that.
Oh man, yeah, it's horrible.
I said the same thing though. If the lap missed the chance that Palmer did, everyone would have been fuming. I feel like everyone could smile because it was Palmer, you know. We can't.
Well, no, people still got on Palmer's back, but I think it's because he also got the goals and the assists, and he helped us towards it. Like if that was the lap, it just compounds the issue that we've had with him the whole season. It's just
the thing is the difference in level between Joao Pedro and Delap is becoming more and more evident every week, and I still don't deny the fact that I love the profile of the lap. This is why I've been a huge advocate for the signing as well, because I was like, it's a good price, like we haven't been ripped off, young talents, played in the Prem, did well for Ipswich, offers us a little bit of something different. But then everything that I thought I was going to get, we've even had the Costa comparisons, and it's like it's a fair comparison to make in terms of what he's trying to do. He just never does it. He can't head the ball. He can't head the ball. I don't understand what it is. Even when he won a duel towards the end of the game, I don't know if you remember, it was near the corner flag,
I think, wasn't it?
and he fucking elbowed their player, and he got away with it. I was saying to myself, like, you can't deny it's entertaining. But like this is not a reliable striker that I can count on, and I'm glad we didn't substitute Joao Pedro for him either, because I think that Joao Pedro made Delap's life easier, and he still wasn't able to capitalize or make an impact.
I feel like with Liam Delap, he tries to do too much. I feel like he doesn't let the game come to him. He's always going for it, in a sense. Like, he's always trying to do this. He needs to just be a bit more composed and sort of use this up here instead of these guys, and just really read the game and anticipate. He doesn't anticipate enough. And I feel like that's where Joao Pedro has really improved his game. Like, before, the guy, Joao Pedro, would be coming in a lot into the midfield and just clogging up that space. I don't know if it's because Racine. I think it's, firstly, we have to give credit to Racine, because this Joao Pedro transformation doesn't happen without Liam Racine, in my opinion. Like, the way that Joao Pedro has been playing nowadays, he's not coming into midfield and sort of like bringing a defender in and just making it far too compact to really play out. Nowadays, he's putting his back on the centre back and holding up that ball. I've seen him flicker over some guys' heads and spray out wide. I'm thinking, and his overall play has just improved massively. And now with Enzo playing a much more advanced role, I think that's what's allowed Joao Pedro to make more runs in behind. Hence why we're seeing him being fed a lot more and him running into those channels and being a threat. And he's just been incredible, like top to bottom. I have nothing but praise for that guy. Like, it's not just the goals, it's not the assists, it's not the pre-assists, it's the performances that he's been putting in. Even against Arsenal, where we were diabolical, it was just him that was putting in a class performance. And I just have to say, credit to Liam Racine, credit to Joao Pedro, because wow, this is a transformation.
100% agree, and I think your point on the performances, I think you should go to last game. Didn't get any goals, didn't get any assists. I don't count the penalties. Premier League doesn't count the penalties, so I don't count the penalties. And still had an all-round excellent game. Like, hold up play, link up play, connecting everything. It's like those performances we see from Jackson in last, like 2 seasons ago, really. But with just more finesse, because again, he's just that more refined kind of, where Jackson's a bit, like, it doesn't look the prettiest.
Yeah,
it's a bit raw, doesn't look the prettiest. He's just more refined because of even though he's the same age, he's had more years in the Prem, more years in England, more years just playing football at the top level.
Playing top level in Brazil as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is his 5th year in English football, 5th or 6th, I think. And so he just is able to do that. And ultimately, I don't apologise for my criticism earlier in the season. But if he carries on like he is, number one, like I said, he's going to outscore Joao Pedro. He's going to outscore Jackson this season. I think he's on 14 GNA for the season in the league. So he's 5 off of Jackson's first season.
Wow.
I think I have to give him credit as well, and I have to sort of eat my words, because I was saying that I don't think Joao Pedro is going to get more goals than Jackson. And
I was saying that at the start of the season as well. I was saying,
you know what it is? A lot of fans, not all of them, but a good few fans, want to be right at the detriment of the club. That's not me. I tend to, I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong if it means that the players and the team are successful. And yeah, I'm happy to be wrong. I want to eat my
100%. And yeah, I've said on streams, I'm more than happy to apologise about my takes on Joao Pedro earlier in the season. Because for me to do that, I said he has to be a clear upgrade on Jackson. And I've always said that outside of all the other stuff they do, in terms of output, because ultimately that's what matters when it comes to striker, I said 18 league goals is what I want minimum. He is 8 off getting penalties,
that. That's very hard.
I was going to say, he's 8 off getting that. We have 12 games left. It's going to be a push, but there's a chance he gets there if he continues in the same form. He's 4 and 5. He's 5 GNA in 5 games.
He was taking penalties, wasn't he? And he got 22.
Isak was, yeah.
Yeah, he got 22. It's
Wow.
hard, like because that's what when I look back at it, sometimes I think of Diego Costa being an absolute freak because that guy was getting 20 goals in the league without penalties. Like, it is
Yeah, I
very,
know,
very
it's
hard to do. It is so
Yeah.
hard to do.
even Drogba was doing that as well, which was
Yeah.
insane as well.
It's so tricky. Like if Drogba took all of Lampard's penalties, like this guy would be, you know how
Oh,
people
bro,
say, "Oh,
he'd be in the conversations that Henri and stuff were in.
yeah,
But,
exactly."
like,
In terms of goals,
no
yeah.
doubt in my mind.
I think it got to a point where Joao Pedro sort of stagnated. I think that's why like all of us were sort of like, what's kind of happened to him and stuff. Like we saw the form of the World Cup, and it kind of just like we didn't see really an improvement. There was the link up play wasn't there, the hold up play wasn't there. He wasn't bringing players into play. Like he was missing big chances as well. Well,
Like, he was
obviously
doing
all of
Gabriel
that.
Jesus sort of things where he was everywhere but where in the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
And
Yeah.
the thing you're seeing now that he's doing, and I think some of this comes from positioning in the box, is he's just shooting more. Because I think the thing with Joao Pedro has always been, it was the same at Brighton. He's a really clinical finisher. He just doesn't shoot. Like he just doesn't take shots in positions he should take shots. And he'd have way more goals if he did that. And you're starting to see he's now taking more shots. And I think, like I said, some of it has to do with he's being put in positions, and some of this comes back to the Palmer conversation of he's being put in positions where he has no other choice but to shoot, like the goal yesterday. He has no other option there. He has to shoot. He has to
The
shoot
way
in that
he
position.
took that goal, like I don't think
100%.
people understand how hard of a finish that is. Like in
Bro,
real
it's like
time,
the
you have a split
PSG
second to
one,
make
isn't
your
it?
decision
Yeah.
there, and the dink was absolutely, it was weighted perfectly. Like those finishes, it looks easy on television, but trust me, go do that in real time. It's not. It's very hard. A lot of people just put their foot through that one there.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like
What did I miss, boys?
Just having a conversation about how good Joao Pedro's been, and just kind of going forward.
Yeah.
I did not have the runs. My computer's running out of charge. But listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. But today's not the day. Fingers crossed. Go on, continue, boys.
I was just because I wanted to talk about a player that I think deserves their flowers from yesterday, and what I'm about to say might sound a bit mad considering some of the performances we saw yesterday, but I'll explain my reasoning. I think in this current system, Cucurella might be the most important player in the team.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is look what happened after he came off in the second half. In the game yesterday, you look at the first half, Leeds' biggest outlet at the moment is their wing backs, and especially that right-hand side of Bogle. Got a goal against Forest. I think he was maybe involved in a couple of the other goals. We completely nullified him because of how Cucurella was playing in terms of always an outlet on the left-hand side, pushing up, putting so much pressure, meaning he couldn't get forward without allowing Cucurella to get in behind. Was that option then for Enzo tucking in? And yeah, just kept the pressure up. All of the attacks as well were going down that left-hand side pretty much. He comes off, and as much as I like Hato, and I think there's a good player in there, the one thing he lacks, and again, this is because he's not really a natural left-back, is that ability to go forward. So you see he starts deeper. He's not pushing forward quite as much. So all of a sudden, Bogle's starting to get into the game more. He starts getting further forward, and ultimately, he's the one that creates both of the goals we concede. You know, he was the one who got fouled for the penalty, and he's the one who handballs it, yes, but then is the one who brings it down to, get the, I don't even know if it was an assist, but creates the second goal. And I think that comes from just not having Cucurella on the pitch to have that pressure the other way for him. And so I think we go back to just to quickly on a point that we made earlier about Enzo. I don't think Enzo in that left wing position works if Cucurella is not playing. I don't think you can play that with Hato there, again, because of the ability going forward. I think you have to then move people around to facilitate that.
I think I know. I agree with that to an extent, actually, because when you think about it, if Esteval's not there, we can play Cole Palmer on the right wing. We can play, we can interchange the two. Even Enzo Fernandez, we can play Cole Palmer there. We could take Enzo Fernandez off. But who do we really have to replace Cucurella in that sort of situation? Because I think people are forgetting how good Cucurella's delivery is. Like, his delivery is exceptional, especially whilst running full speed. He can put that ball in. We saw it at times yesterday. We saw it even in the Euros. Wasn't he the one that got that got the assist against to win it against England? It was, isn't it? Like he is a massive threat going forward, and he does pin their wingers back and forces them to chase him the other way, which opens up the game for us a lot more. So I don't think that's a crazy shout. I think that's a very valid take, I'll be honest.
Especially going forward with how we're gonna sort of line up. To be fair, I was interested to hear your reasoning. To be fair, but yeah, I understand why. To be fair,
But here's the thing: if we play against Saka,
yeah.
do you see him going that? Like, do you see him being that effective against the big teams like Arsenal, like
Good
when
question.
he's playing against Real Shirky and City, and even United right now? They're
We'll
giving
line up a bit differently though against those teams. I don't think Cucurella have that much space against those sort of teams and
I'd
stuff.
say that's where I would like to see what, again, we touched on it earlier with the Enzo and like moving people around. I'd like to see just a midfield three with Enzo in there. If that means Palmer on the right, that means Palmer on the right. I still think he still works there. And then I'd put Esteval on the left. I think he showed in 1 or 2 games he works there. I think he's better than any of the else we have. If you have to put someone else there, cool. Like, I don't really care who it is at that point. But I would like to see that. My only worry with that lineup would be the defensive work from Esteval, Palmer, and Enzo, but you could maybe make it work. But I think regardless, it has to be Enzo in midfield because of that, what you said, Saeed, in terms of you might be in trouble the other way if Cucurella is going to push that high.
Yeah, because like you look at some of the players in the league, like Shirky, Semenyo, like Saka, these guys will punish you on the other side. And
just on Cucurella as well.
I don't like thinking like that though. I always like to make those guys go back as opposed to us worrying about what they can do to us. No, forget that. Let's go for the game. Let's harm them instead of thinking what could happen. I hate that mentality. That's the mentality that we've had as English when we were watching the English national team for years. We were always thinking about, what can they do to us, not what we can do to them.
I think Cucurella is. I mean, he's proof that ready-made signings work. He was actually one of the few players in this side that was ready-made when we bought him, like Caicedo, like Enzo, right? So I know that you get them wrong, but when you get them right, it's pretty nice, right? You don't have to think too much about having a Gittins and a Garnacho on the left side, or lacking that number 1 up top, that number 9. Although I think maybe we're a little bit more settled with Joao Pedro now. But I think we'll set up differently against the bigger teams. I think we need to as well, especially from a defensive point of view. We're going to be more reliant on Cucurella. I'm not sure if I want to give him as much freedom, if that makes sense, when we go forward. And that's also sort of presuming that James will be involved in some of those games, especially Arsenal and Villa. I want to see us have a little bit more of a threat on that right-hand side. I love the link up between James and Esteval as well. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. So for me, at least in those games.
You weren't playing yesterday. Are you talking in general though?
I'm just speaking generally, like when we play against Arsenal and Villa. Those are games where I'd like to see a James on the right. That's where I want our threat to come. If we're looking at an overlap, if we're looking at link up between a fullback and a winger.
Alex, I'm so glad you brought up the James thing, by the way. But I need him back ASAP, please, man. We need him back.
If we're saving him for the big ones, then it's not.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't mind him not playing against Burnley, not playing against Hull. Like, that's fine. I need him fit and ready for Arsenal. Like, please, for the love of God, I need him fit for Arsenal.
If we don't beat Arsenal, that's 4 times we played them this season, and we haven't got 1 result. That is shocking. I don't care what anybody says.
We're not beating them in ages as well.
This is
just on Cucurella as well. Do we know the extent of his injury as well?
It's a hamstring injury. We haven't been told, like, how bad.
Doesn't sound
good.
Would
you not play Hato, or would you play Gusto off the left then?
Hato, and it's not. Right? Hato, and it's not a debate. I wouldn't play Gusto at right back. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, Scott, I think it comes down to systems, right? And if you ask Gusto to do a job, especially against the bigger teams as well, he's had good games against the bigger sides. He played in the midfield against Liverpool. I'm not saying we do that again, but if you said to Gusto, right, all I need you to do is this is your man, take care of him, give your wingers some support. That's it. I don't really think you can go wrong with Gusto. Like I don't feel like Gusto's the biggest issue at the moment. Like, people want to scapegoat Gusto, but we have bigger problems than him. He for me, Gusto is a little bit like, let's just say, Chalobah. We know that there are better players out there than Chalobah, but yet he's still a very important part of our team. And I feel the same way about Gusto. I don't hate the guy. I don't love the guy. I think he's a solid squad player. I think he's a solid squad player because he fills in when needed and does a pretty decent job. He's not amazing. He's not rubbish. Could he be a little bit better technically? Sure. But I mean, I've said it already, and that's probably another debate in itself. I actually think he has improved a little bit with Maresca, forcing him to use his weak foot at times in the midfield and make runs that you would never normally see an overlapping fullback do. Now, does that mean that's how we get the best out of Gusto? No, but I think he's actually improved as a player and matured. And if we're just going to go back to basics, like we saw what he could do under Poch when he's just got the license to go up and down. So why would you want to restrict that? I think it's really about the manager giving him the instructions that will then carry out and actually be successful. Because listen, if you want him to man mark someone and give us legs in the midfield, he's done it. He's done it before. It doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, but I think Gusto is one of those players that he basically carries out what a manager asks to the T. And the reason people don't like it is because Maresca was asking him to do something that he wasn't particularly good at, but he was improving. So I'm just saying, go back to basics. Let's just see some overlapping fullbacks. We are kind of getting there as well. It's not like we're a million miles.
I'm going to be honest. I think he is rubbish. Like, I'm going to be honest, and I disagree. I don't think he has improved.
That's so harsh.
I don't think it's harsh.
Do you think that Hatto's poor? Do you think Hatto's poor?
No, not entirely. But I think it's first season. He's basically not played all that much. And I think it's a completely new system in terms, not new system, but like there are things he's been asked to do he's not used to doing. Mm-hmm. Where I get annoyed with Gusto isn't the inverting stuff. This is where I think people get twisted. I'm not annoyed at the inverting stuff. I get annoyed that his crossing hasn't improved in the 2.5 years he's been here. I get annoyed that defensively he's still the same player. At the back post, yet again, by the way, in the game yesterday, nearly gave away a penalty because he's not defending his back post properly. He loses Okafor for the goal he scores because he's just ball watching. Doesn't look at him once.
That was terrible.
Like defensively, and in terms of overlapping crossing, he hasn't improved in 2.5 years.
I agree with you. I was gonna say that's a bit harsh, but people need to understand there's two sides. There's defending, and then there's different aspects to defending. Like Gusto, 1v1, I trust him against most wingers in the world, but inbox defending, his
spatial
awareness, where he needs to be to cut out the ball, that's like he's below par, let's say. And also the fundamentals of that's one of the basic fundamentals of defending, like being in the right position in the box to cut out the ball, just making your job easier by not really relying on your pace and your athleticism, but relying on this up here. And the fact that going the other way, the guy still can't cross a road, that's concerning, I'll be honest. Like he put in a great, I wouldn't even say it was a great cross against City when Enzo Fernandez scored. I just think that cross. I think that was just, the ball was quite slow. I just think that there was just so many bodies in there, and like they were just colliding with each other. No one was
Let's just say that I'm not like when Gusto does play, I'm not worried at all, if that makes sense. I'm not like, oh damn, like I wonder who's playing on the left wing for this team because we've got Gusto at right back. Like I do trust him to do a job. There's obviously he's obviously not going to be Reece James. Like obviously he's just not going to be Reece James level. He's not going to be like a Timber level of like fullback and stuff. But I think for what we've got, I think but personally for me anyway, I don't think there's anyone better in terms of a backup right back that we can have. To be fair, I think he gets a bit too much criticism. Obviously, there's moments in games where you'll think like what the hell is he doing? Obviously, like Scott, you mentioned the second goal for Leeds yesterday. I mean, that was unacceptable from his point of view and stuff. And obviously, he almost gave away the penalty and stuff. But I do think there's good sides to his game as well. And obviously, as a starter for a starting right back to play every single game and stuff, will be one of the main guys. I don't think he's it, but as a backup right back, like I don't think we can get much better than just
100%. Like if we got another backup right back, I'm not sitting here saying that you can't improve. I'm sure you can, but that is just not a priority. A priority is a centre back. A priority, honestly, I wouldn't mind if we got another striker. A priority is a
centre back, but Alex,
and we just spoke about the midfield depth as well. Like these are all positions that require a lot more attention.
Right back is still a priority if Reece James can't play.
So you're telling me, so where do you rank that on the list?
I would rank that fifth.
This is not a priority, Scott. It's not
It is a
priority
priority because I think of the top 5 things we need to do, all of them are priorities in their own right for differing reasons. We need a winger, we need a striker. Well, I don't know if strikers are striker might not be priority depending on how Joao Pedro finishes the season and what happens with Omega. Because we're getting Omega in, there's no point having 3 strikers to the level of Omega, the lap, even though Omega's quality is high, and Joao Pedro. Then if you add another one, I don't think we're going to get another one. So I'd even say 4th. I think that it's the priority is 4th, and I think all of those 4 things you need to do are key for differing reasons. 2 of them are because of rotation. Like for me, the centre mid and the right back thing is just because the guys that are in there can't play every game, or in Reece James's case, need to like be rotated if we're going to continue managing his minutes. And I just don't trust Gusto. Like I just don't trust him.
I will say one thing, Scott, that I agree on is I don't think Gusto is good enough to win a title. I don't think he's good enough for that. But I think
he's good enough to be
anything
a top
else,
player
I
for a
think he's
title.
more than capable. So if you are without James
player,
for a number of months and you have Gusto, I can see how we lack a little bit of, I guess, flair on that right hand side. He's not sexy, but I think Gusto's relatively like I feel like I can count on him the majority of times.
I
You
think
know,
Gusto's
I
good
think he's
enough to
going to
be a
give you a
squad
6,
player.
7 out of 10. So
I don't remember the last time he gave me a 6, 7 out of 10. I'm going to be honest.
that's very harsh. Come on, that is very harsh.
What about the
Sorry,
Man City game?
That's cool. That was 8 games ago.
Was it actually 8 games
Fair.
ago? Wow.
8 games ago.
I felt like last
if I'm
week,
getting
you
a
know?
performance,
Yeah, it
you know
does
what?
feel like it was
That's
last week.
100% fair. But like,
Because we have
I'm
games
gonna
every
be honest,
3
if I'm
days, it
getting a-
feels like it's so close.
yeah, if I'm getting a performance every 8 games, like, or a 6, 7 out of 10 every 8 games, I mean, fair. Like, that's cool, I guess.
I wouldn't say that he's good enough to be like a Premier League or Champions League winning right back, but I think he's good enough to be like a second choice or like a squad player, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm with you on that, but I guess Scott's point is fair, isn't it? Is that there's a good chance that James would be injured for a period, and that's where it's fair. That's just about how much money we're going to spend, and
Do you think that Gusto's game would improve if he had
there's
a
other
quality
positions I
centre
can
backs
fill.
next to him, boys? Do you think his game would improve?
Say again?
Do you not think his
Defense.
game-
I
do you
don't
not
think
his
they
game
would.
defensively would improve if he had quality centre backs next to him. Like the other day, I was watching Mark Gahey's performance. Who was it against?
Liverpool? Or?
Yeah, it was against Liverpool. I was just stunned. I was like, imagine we had that guy in our defense.
I mean,
like,
to be fair, he did used to play with Thiago Silva, so it's not a terrible
I would
argument. And that was
say-
just their best
yeah,
season.
but that Thiago Silva season, that was a very cagey season under Pochettino. Like, that was
But
like
it was a
all of the
good
players
season
really-
for Gusto.
Look, for Gusto, it was, yeah. That's probably
Yeah, for
his best.
Gusto, it was a good season, but for the rest of him was. The reason I would say no to that is just because of what we spoke about earlier in terms of what he lacks. Like, I don't think it helps. At least I could be proved wrong, but I don't think having a quality centre back is going to help the back post issue. You know, him still getting beaten by the winger on the back post. I don't, unless the centre back is going to be a guy who's going to drill it into him of like, you need to keep an eye on him and he's going to marshal him. Then maybe in that sense, potentially. But outside of that, I don't think it will help. And it just doesn't help going forward. Like, he's still going to be terrible at crosses. He's still going to have really poor decision making in the final third,
That's
whether
fair
there's a
enough.
centre back there or not.
No, I think that's a fair point. It's a good little debate on Gusto. Let us know what you think in the comments as well, guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and check out okjersey.com as well. Get your shirts. Your World Cup shirts are now out as well. You can get not just your favorite teams, but you can get your country as well. So check them out. Use the code CFTV for 8% off, and let us know what you think about the shirts as well. Look forward to getting some feedback on that. I mean, guys, what I will say is that I think the substitutions were pretty standard. I don't think there was really much debate about any of them. Fafana coming on for Achimpong seemed strange, but I was like, actually, you know what? I wouldn't. It's an upgrade, isn't it? It's a direct upgrade. It's pretty obvious. Neto's gonna give you a bit more defensively, which is when we took Steve off. We were winning the game at that point. And Delap for Santos was just an attacking change, and Hato with Cucurella's injury. So, I mean, any qualms about what we did in terms of the subs?
The only one I didn't like was the Santos for Delap one, just because I think this is more a hindsight thing. But Delap offered nothing going forward, and I think that even though we didn't need it necessarily, I thought we lost a bit in midfield in terms of just having that kind of control, but also the build up through midfield. I think when Santos was there, we were attacking through the midfield a lot more, and then when he went off, it kind of went entirely to the right wing in Neto, which was still kind of working, to be fair. Like, just on Neto quickly, I actually didn't think he had a terrible game when he came on. He still can't beat guys. He still can't beat guys 1v1 on a dribble, but I don't expect that. His crossing was excellent.
Get the champagne out, boys. Get the champers out.
You know, this is what annoys me though sometimes. Like the fact that we're talking about a Premier League winger that plays for Chelsea that can't be a defender 1v1. Like,
Said, I know, bro.
That's like a post. That's like saying the postman can't put a letter through the box. Like, I'm being real.
Yeah, I know.
It's nonsense.
Bro,
Father after the game, he was like, what did he say to me? He was like, top four is like hot potato, you know? You have it, Man United, you have it, Liverpool. I was like, that's a good analogy. I've heard some good ones recently. I mean, by the way, I'm so glad you said that, Scott. I'm so glad you gave Neto a compliment. That means
how players off the bench are like better than that. You start. It's like Garnacho's better off the bench. We've seen Gittins whenever he does come on, he's normally better off the bench. Neto is obviously better off the bench and stuff. So it's just like, yeah, we can't win with these wingers, man. That we've got.
No. I think Neto would be a quality wing back.
He played at wing back against Napoli. I thought it was rubbish in that.
He played wing back in the Club World Cup final, basically against Hakimi.
He did, to be fair. But yeah, like I think wing back is his actual position.
I suppose that they were on different sides, so maybe try him on the right then.
But you can't. I don't think you can try him on the right just because the way our team lines up and everything. But yeah, I think he is a wing back. Like that is his position. Because he can't be guys on the dribble, which you need wingers to, and at least with a wing back you can use the defensive work rate and get up and down. But yeah, I thought the one thing about him is at least his crosses were on point yesterday, which we haven't seen a lot of recently. So yeah, I think at least, yeah, I know. At least there was that. Like he didn't come on and be a negative, which is nice. Obviously, we haven't seen that too much. And yeah, I think the other subs, the Hatter one was enforced. Can't do anything about that. And then the Fafana one for Josh, it sucks for Josh. Up until the mistake, I thought he was having a good game. But yeah, I kind of understand why he did that as a young player. You don't want him to get rattled and potentially there to be worse moments. So I kind of understand that as well.
Here's the thing, though. You know how we've got Quenda coming in? A lot of people aren't ready for this argument, but...
sell Neto.
You'd still have Neto?
No, sell Neto in a heartbeat instantly the day the window opens.
I was about to say, people aren't ready to see how good Quenda is. Like, I've watched glimpses of him.
Even with the injury as well, bro.
Him in the under-21 Euros. The game just looks easy for that guy. Like he's a joke. Like I'm not sure. We're talking like I want to say generational level talent, but just below that. Like he's ridiculous.
I guess the only thing that worries me is the injury, though. Is it when the injury that he's got at the moment hinder him a little bit, or no, in terms of like coming into the Prem and stuff? Or
I think he's back in a couple months, but I don't know.
That's the only thing. Otherwise, yeah.
Every time I've watched him, he's just a joy to watch. He's a bit like Esteval as well. Like he's electric. Like he just beats players for fun.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think he could, like, depending on, because I think the thing with him is I know he played right wing back obviously under Amorim. I think he's played a mixture of like right wing, a little bit of left wing, and even number 10 internationally as well this season. For me personally. What foot is he, by the way? Is he left-footed or right-footed?
He's left.
I'd honestly play him left wing. Like with the dross we've got on the left wing, I would have him as our left winger next season.
Starting, I've seen him play left wing, and he looks ridiculous there as well.
Yes, I'd start him left wing, Esteval right wing, Palmer in the 10, drop like Joao Pedro up front, and like.
Would you still sell Neto though if you want to play Quenda on the
100%, 1,000,000%.
All right, okay.
But what would you guys do? You know, when we signed Garnacho, I told everybody he's going to be here 6 to 18 months maximum, and then we're going to fleece him. I know. Now looking at him and Jamie Gittins, like, who do you have time for out of them two? Because if
neither. I'm going to be honest. Neither. I don't think either.
I had to pick one, but
I'd pick Gittins if I had to pick one, but neither, because I don't think either have a future long term. Like, if Garnacho is here for 18 months, I think Gittins is here for 24 months. You know, like I don't think either of them are going to be here long term. So I just think it's like you pick your poison in terms of which one do you think you can maybe improve enough long term. And I think the other thing we're keeping Gittins is it's going to be harder to make your money back on him because you spent more on him ultimately.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's why as well. But yeah, but both of them are not going to be here long term. They both sting.
I don't know. I just find it's funny that we've got some financially illiterate people in our sporting department. Like, why they would sign Gittins for 60 million and think that he's going to be like we're going to be able to flip him for 100, or we sign Garnacho for 40 and we're going to be able to flip him for 60. That's not going to happen. Like, I just wish that somebody could tell these lot the best way to be profitable is to win on the pitch, because by winning on the pitch and being in the Champions League every year and getting to the final of the Champions League and winning Premier League titles, that's how you build sustainability. That's how you keep the money coming in. That's how.
How do we get the best out of these players though? Like obviously, like Garnacho and Gittins, because obviously they're like whether we like or not, they're gonna be here for like 1 to 2 seasons more, and we're gonna have to play them in games. Like, how do we get the best out of them? Like,
I genuinely don't think you can.
Like, no,
I honestly don't think you can, because we've had the Garnacho debate. He doesn't fit tactically. So unless you're going to like chop up the whole like system to have him way closer to goal and almost like an inside forward, which like I guess, but then it would just be what we're doing at the moment. It's just he take Enzo's position, and as much as I don't like Enzo at left wing, that's way better than Garnacho at left wing. So with Garnacho, you just can't. You just have to use him as a super sub against teams where you're hopefully ahead. They're going to try and push forward, and you hit him on the counter attack. And with Gittins, I don't know, because like he should be the profile that works in this team, but quality wise, it's so poor. Like confidence, maybe.
I think
it's going to have to be, and this is maybe where Rafinha can help because of the type of guy he is, and I will say the man management from him, and since he's come in, has been excellent. Maybe he just has to be like, maybe he just has to put his arm around him and speak to him. But outside of that, I don't think you can. I'm going to be honest.
Will be like a sort of mini test in terms because whether we like or not, I think they'll both have some involvement in the game.
I think Gittins is still injured, isn't he?
Oh yes, yeah, I forgot he's out. Yeah,
because the hamstring. Yeah, he's out 6 to 8 weeks. I think it is.
Wow,
that was the problem, wasn't it? Because Gittins was going to play loads of minutes this month, and then you're forced into. I mean, to be fair, I don't mind the Enzo experiment because I think it's actually worked. But I mean, it would have been Gittins otherwise, wouldn't it?
Boys, how good do you think our season would have been if we had Lavia and Cole fit the whole year? I had a debate with one guy, and I thought to myself, he told me we'd be up there with City.
No, I think third.
I think third as well.
Crazy.
Yeah, I still don't think we'd be up there with City because even with Colwell and Lavia, we still had the issues going forward in terms of not scoring in games. They don't fix that issue. They just fix maybe we don't concede quite as many. So yeah, I think probably third, maybe close to second, but I still think third.
Basically, where Villa are kind of at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty much where Villa are. Like, we'd be more solidified of getting top 4 than we currently are, but yeah, I don't think outside that it probably would have been any closer to top, like any real closer to the top of the league, I mean.
Yeah.
Boys, I think we're going to wrap it up there because I feel like we've actually sort of addressed most of the...
We didn't even touch on the centre-backs.
Yeah, we haven't.
We've spoken about the centre-backs, no?
Oh, we didn't touch on the centre-backs.
I thought, did we not speak about the goal we conceded?
Not really. Like, we touched on it ever so slightly.
Talk about that then.
To be fair, Josh is kind of the only one I wanted to touch on just because I feel really sorry for him. I mentioned this earlier about the Andre Santos thing. He's the one that has been like, he's had the opposite, or he's had what Santos had under Maresca, just getting like no minutes and getting like thrust in this position here, thrust in this position there. I was scrolling through Twitter like a few minutes ago and saw Liam Rossini's quotes from a couple of days ago about how he sees him as a centre-back long-term, which I think is good. I think that should be his position long-term. But you're talking about a guy who his last start as centre-back was over 3 months ago against Sunderland in any competition.
Wow.
Then the only other minutes he's played as centre-back was 14 minutes a month ago. I think it might have been against Arsenal, but I can't quite remember. And then the start yesterday. And so, like I said, I thought he was good, But I'm then not surprised he's making a couple of mistakes. Like he had the Aronson one where he got a yellow card and he had the mistake for the goal. I'm not surprised. He's a young guy. This is like, I think that was his like 7th game at centre back all season. And most of those came at the start of the season when we had no one else. So it's just, I just feel for him. And I want him to play centre back. I want him to play, keep playing minutes, but he's now not going to play again for another 3 months.
He had an absolute game against Mateta at the beginning of the season, boys. Do you remember?
I think Sar and Benicio.
Do you not remember when he had an absolute game against Mateta at the beginning of the season?
Oh, he outside of the Brighton game, every game he played centre back at the start of the season, he was good. Palace, Liverpool, Sunderland, and Forest, he was good in all of them.
I remember
it was just the Brighton game.
That he didn't start against Leeds, and then we were starting tossing ahead of him. I was so
bro. I was pissed when he got dropped because Fafana came back, because I was like, no, start both of them because Josh was our most informed centre back. But yeah, and he's just been, the way he's been handled has been so weird. I think next season you need to decide what you're going to do with him. Number one, if what Rossini said is true, if you profile him as a centre back going forward, number one, stop playing him at right back, because that's not going to help. If he has to keep changing position and trying to understand 2 different positions at once. Second, find out what his place in the squad is. If he's going to be 5th choice centre back again, loan him out. Loan him to a Palace.
A lot of people would say, look at a lot of centre backs started off as right back when they came into the first team. When you think about it, I remember Sergio Ramos he was a centre back.
Yeah, he was a right back.
Started off as a right back.
Yeah,
a lot of people tend to put them there, but the difference is when you put a young talented centre back as right back, they normally have 1 or 2 experienced veterans at centre back that's leading them, and that they're learning off and they're studying their game and working on their craft, and then they assimilate into that position. Right now, if you're putting Josh into that right back position and he's got Trevor, Buddy and Shield, these sorts of guys that aren't, I would say they're not even far from his level. He's better than
they're not. I think he's.
What's he gonna learn from?
I think on talent, he's our 3rd best centre back.
Yeah. Currently. So what's he gonna learn in that position? It makes no sense. If you're gonna play him right back, let him have some quality.
I actually see the future being a bit bleak for him, to be honest. If you nothing on him, I just think the way that we're sort of running at the moment in terms of a club and stuff, and with Colwell coming back next season, I just got a feeling he'll get sold.
So we've got him, Sar, and Anselmino in basically the same age bracket in the same position in the squad as right centre backs.
And the thing is,
is Anselmino left foot?
Only one of them is going to be pure
right
profit. And who is that? It's Josh.
I think it'll be Josh. Yeah, I think unfortunately, you'll get sold. That's obviously nothing. He's great, but
what's annoying me, if that's the plan, then even though I don't want it, sell him, because I'm tired of this pussyfooting around as well of the reason we're not getting a centre back is because they trust Josh. Bollocks. Because he wouldn't have played no minutes he wouldn't have had 1 start as centre back, in three and a bit months and 14 minutes outside of that, in between, if you trusted him to play centre back.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Scott. Even though I like what I see from Josh, I always feel like there's a mistake. I always feel that way.
You can say that about everyone.
Yeah, but that's a 19-year-old
kid. I wouldn't say that in the same way about a Chalobah or a Fafana. I wouldn't say it in the same way. I wouldn't say it because I feel like the way that Achimpong plays, at times he invites that. Look at the run that he made. It was incredible what he did. Drove the ball right up the pitch. I thought he was going to have a Kurt Zuma moment and have a crack.
That's what I thought as well,
and I'm saying that's great, but then he'll do that in other games. I think that happened. Was it the Brighton game at home where something similar happened?
I was going to say
Fafana makes those mistakes.
Fafana doesn't lose the ball when he doesn't lose the ball.
He does.
Fafana did the exact same thing against Newcastle, which we then conceded from.
Was that away?
Yeah,
that was the 3-2 where we lost. I think 3-2 or no, the draw. Sorry, wherever it was,
2-2.
2-2. Yeah, he did that in the exact same game, and we conceded from it.
I just don't get the impression with Fafana though that he has got a mistake in him every single game. So you make a fair point. Then they both drive out. I actually think the profile's similar there, so that's fair. But if I'm looking at Fafana, I'm going fine. All right, you will make mistakes, but I think 8 times out of 10, Fafana is pretty reliable. Bearing in mind the fact that he's fit. And I don't necessarily feel the same way about Achimpong. That's not to say that I don't like what he offers, because I actually really like Achimpong. I think it's good that he can play on the right and in the middle. But there's just something about him that doesn't fill me with confidence. And I'll add on to that the fact that Chalobah seems to play a lot better with Fafana. And maybe that's one of the reasons why Fafana came on, because the goal we conceded, I mean, they both looked like idiots for that one. Even Sanchez, I mean, it was pathetic all round. So just having one competent defender in there makes everyone a little bit better. So we could even be looking at Achimpong and Fafana, but we're obviously not seeing that.
I would rather develop
season game time.
100%. I would rather invest my time into Josh than I would in any other centre back currently in the club,
Including
Josh has the highest ceiling,
including Fafana.
The thing is, though, it's not an investment in Fafana, because what he's given us is stability when he does play.
It's not stability all the time. We've seen
basically guaranteed. Well, I'm not going to say guaranteed.
Our club after Reece James. I think Fafana's the highest paid player on.
He's the second. No, he's the second highest paid player
after Reece. Reece. Yeah, like, and when you
I
think
watched
about
him
it,
get dog walked by Rasmus Højlund for 45 minutes. Like,
yeah, and the thing is, like, he's been here since Graham Potter. Like,
are we really doing the Fafana thing again?
Yeah, I don't. He is our second best centre back.
I just hate the fact that people think that this guy's. Like, I feel like people need to realize we can get better than Fafana. Like, Fafana isn't. He's not the.
It's just a fitness thing for me.
He's not the answer. He's not the guy. He's not the Van Dijk. He's not the.
He hasn't been. It's not that he's been the guy, but he's been the best guy.
Yeah.
I think
but Colwell's been injured.
Oh, you're talking this season?
Has by definition been the best guy.
But when you
considering our defense has been mostly back, I think that's a glowing.
I'm not saying it's glowing. I'm saying it's the truth.
And I also don't know if he has. Again, I would say that Josh's start to the season is probably the best we've seen, like, consistency-wise, from any centre back at a football club.
I think this season Fafana has, without question, been our best centre back, and that. When he plays, let's say you're looking at the starting lineup, we're playing any team. Do you feel more confident with or without Fafana?
With Fafana, definitely. Aerially wise, across the ground, like his ability to recover. Yeah, I'd give it to Fafana. I think he is our best centre back. But the thing is, I don't want people to forget the fact that look at the sample: Badiashile, Tosin, Trevor. This is the caliber that he's up against, isn't it? Of course, it's not his fault.
I mean, I can only compare him to what we have. So
I just think that we should compare him to some of the best defenders in the league. If he is the number one at Chelsea as our centre back, compare him to the best in the league, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I agree. We need a centre back. I was actually not against the signing of Jeremy Jacquet. I wasn't like massively a fan, but the more I looked into him, I thought it's a pretty good signing. Speaking of which, we'll finish off on one last thing, which is from the Daily Mail, and it says Chelsea insiders are anticipating a busy summer transfer window with potential incomings in every outfield department after what turned into a sleepy January. Having lost out on Jeremy Jacquet late in the window, they remain in the market for a defender.
We're going to sign an 18-year-old that's just done a step over. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to be honest with you. Considering the amount of players we already have coming into our team in the summer, I would not be surprised if we signed one player and called it a day.
Are you just talking about a centre back, or are you talking about the whole?
Just a player? I couldn't tell you the position. I'm saying a player somewhere on the football pitch.
Yeah, that's true. When you think about Lavia's coming back, Anso Mina's coming back,
I wasn't talking about Lavia.
Wender's coming. Yeah, I completely agree.
We have potentially 5 people coming back in the summer. We have Quenda, we have Anso Mina, we have Penders, we have Sar's already here. There was someone else, not Lavia. Who's the other person? Omega. And we have potentially, if what Fabrizio Romano reported when this signing happened is true, and Caicedo as well.
Oh, God.
Wow, okay.
So we've got potentially 5 new players coming in. If these guys are going to go out and sign more players, we're going to get an entire new 11 in one window, potentially, if these guys are planning a busy summer.
But then I think we'll have a lot of outgoings as well, like players like, for example, like Pedro.
I mean, yeah,
Neto.
sure.
Like,
These guys love just flipping players like ad
that's what I
nauseum.
mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me if we end up selling like,
This
for
is a
example,
pyramid
like
scheme.
Josh
This
or like
football
Pedro
club, man.
Neto or even like Jorgensen or someone like that. Or yeah, the amount of players we flipped in the past few seasons, it wouldn't surprise me if we get rid of the loads and then obviously bring loads in.
You know what this is, yeah? You know this football club is? It's a pyramid scheme. You know those guys that are just outside the train station saying, "How would you like to be rich?" You know those guys. This is what this is. Honestly, I'm just sick of this, man. I'm sick of this.
Yeah, it's not good.
These lot are allergic to anybody above 26 years old, man. I don't know, man. This is.
No, they're allergic to quality. That's what it is.
You know, the crazy thing is, though, I mean, we are. I predicted this. It's not necessarily what people want to hear, but we are going to have a lot more experience in the next couple of years because the players that we have are just getting older. And
Yeah, the experience.
that's the model, isn't
Well,
it?
they're getting
That
better.
we're building
Again.
our own experience. We're not signing it. We signed him when he was 19 and we keep him until he's
Alex.
29.
Again,
Alex Iwobi and Kelechi Iheanacho were getting older. Doesn't mean that they're getting better or they're going to be.
I never said that, but when
You know
people
what I
say
mean?
we need experience, I'm telling you, we're going to get it. But you just need to wait a few years because we're not going to sign it.
we need like better experience than that and quality. Again, the issue isn't even
I would love
experience.
to get like a Bastonian or somebody like.
Oh, bro, don't like. There's players in this team I would love, man, and we're never gonna get them.
I would love to think about it. Like
Harry
Bastoni,
Kane,
he's
man.
26 years of age. He's played in Champions League finals. He's won the Scudetto. Like that is the sort of leader that you need. Like, oh my god, these guys. Just give me 1 week.
But the maddest thing is, we might actually end up keeping someone like Tosin because of his age as well.
Oh no.
Ramesh, you make a fair point.
It's true. No. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but it's going
No,
to.
but the thing is, Darius, you're making a fair point because
Yeah.
Tosin is not about
player I've
on
seen
the
with my own
pitch.
two eyes.
It's about
Second.
it's about the dressing room, which
But he's the
everyone's
second
saying
worst
you need
player I've
experience.
seen in a Chelsea
Why is
shirt.
it
Second.
experience is important in the dressing room? It's one of the most important things that you can have.
Bakayoko then.
We don't.
What do you mean,
Why didn't-
Bakayoko?
Why didn't we
Bakayoko,
keep him? He was experienced. Like,
If-
it
if
he
just-
wasn't experienced when we signed him. He played for Monaco. He was young.
Oh my god, he was about 25, 26.
No, he
Tosin was
wasn't. He
about
was
28.
younger than that. He was
No, I
younger
don't
than that.
think he was, to be fair.
He was very young, mate. He was
But yeah,
very young.
just to be clear, I
Just
do want to
winning a
see
league
Bob,
title.
but
I mean,
Hang on, what's Bakayoko got to do with keeping Tosin?
Because I'm sorry, I'm triggered, man. I'm triggered when I hear Tosin. Just leave me alone. That guy has given me trauma.
genuinely, guys, no,
he's the most
he's going to
flattering
stay.
defender
He's
I've
going
ever
to stay.
seen in my life.
He can be like the brand ambassador, you know, when
no,
the players
get
and they've
rid
got to
of
do the
him.
rounds
No,
with the fans and Scott, you win a meet up with a player.
No,
That's who you're going to
no,
meet. You're going to meet
no,
Tosin because they don't want
no,
Palmer. They don't want
no.
Palmer. You know, they want
Correct
keep
me if I'm
Palmer on
wrong,
the
boys.
pitch
No,
and Tosin. You can shake
No.
everyone's hands. You can do the appearances. You can appear in the adverts. That's what Sanchez did when he first signed for us. Chelsea were thinking, right, we're not getting our money's worth off the pitch, so we're going to stick him in every single advert and commercial about Chelsea. And to be fair, it's actually turned out well. But
By the way, just
It's not
sorry,
Tosin.
Guys, can I just
No,
confirm
man,
something?
it's not
I just
bad.
realized something. Can I just
unless you
confirm
get a
something?
really good offer for him of like 15, 20 million.
no,
sell
get
him.
10 mil. If you get 10 mil, sell him instantly.
I mean,
500k,
it's
he's
still
paying for free.
profit,
500k
to be
is
fair.
good
It is still
profit, man.
profit.
Go.
Yeah, 500k is good
Yeah,
profit. Get rid
trust
of
me.
him.
He's not going to be sold, lads. Trust me. But
You know what I just realized?
Boys,
Fulham,
you just complained about experience. I mean, that's the truth. It's
No, I
he's
complained about
the
quality.
oldest one. He's the uncle, mate. He's the uncle.
I
He's going to be
complain about
granddad.
quality. He thinks
He's almost
he
hit 30. I mean, we've got a few years.
how's he the
getting
worst
on.
then? How's he the worst?
What
Let's
do you
think
mean,
about
how's
it.
he worse?
10 years. He got 10 years on Josh, and he's worse. And Josh is
and he's
miles better than him.
significantly worse. It's not even close.
Yeah, like I
I'm
just
not
can't
saying play
believe
the
this.
guy.
Like, you know
Guys,
what I
I'm
think about
honest, I'm not saying play him. I'm
Fulham
just
have
saying-
to be like what they done is daylight robbery. Honest to God, like they gave him
They like robbery.
for
What do you
free,
mean?
and they got Anderson from Crystal Palace.
We
Man,
got
I
him
say-
for free. We didn't get robbed.
They
It was
no, we got
business at the
robbed.
time. It wasn't,
robbed.
No, we got robbed.
necessarily ambitious, but it was smart. It was free.
No, we paid nothing and got robbed. They upgraded on him significantly.
No, Tosin
they
was
got
a useful
Anderson in.
player for us last season. We can all agree with that. Conference League, he was
I
great.
mean, yeah, that's his level though, isn't
But in
it?
terms of the
level.
Premier League, he's not
Level,
good
man.
enough.
Like Djurgården, Legia Warsaw. Like that's his level,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Sorry, well, just to mention, one of you guys mentioned Sanchez as well. Yeah, I thought he had a good performance yesterday as well. Another good performance from him. Do you guys think he could have done better for the second goal?
Yeah.
Potentially?
He could have been more dominant, but to be honest, when in doubt, kick it out. That's the way. You know,
I
that's
feel like
the way
no one really claimed it there. Like out of the centre backs, and yeah, it was just a mess from
It was just a
minute
mess,
one.
yeah.
Trevor messed up, then Josh messed up, then Caicedo and Bob. Like it was just a mess. Like oh my god.
I agree.
boys.
Oh,
I
I think
you'll-
I've triggered Scott with the tossing comment, man. Sorry, man.
yeah. Oh, I love it. No, it's a good one, Damesh. I like that one. Listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Big up to all three of you. Really appreciate it. Big up to everyone else that's been watching. If you haven't smashed that like button, please do. It makes a massive difference. It helps support the channel and it shows us that you're enjoying the show. Check out okjersey.com as well if you're looking for some nice, cheap jersey, but still decent quality as well. Get yourself an extra discount with the code CFTV. Use the QR code on screen as well as the link in the description. And yeah, big up to you, Damesh. Thanks so much for
Big up, man.
coming on, mate. Always a pleasure. Good to see you as well, Scott. Any plans for the next game, mate? Are you watching from home?
Yeah, probably. I watched the whole game.
I've got a
from
spare
home.
for Burnley if you want it, Scott.
I might be busy. I think I'm busy with my kid.
Fair enough. And Saeed, as always, mate, pleasure. Back from holiday. You feeling refreshed?
Yeah, man. Back from holiday, and yeah, so I'll get myself to the bridge very soon.
Looking forward to seeing you, man. Well, listen, guys, always a pleasure. We're going to wrap it up.